Don't miss out on important news. Our videos are being deleted. So if you don't want to be cut off from honest news, take a moment to sign up for our newsletter at newsletter.ntd.com so you don't lose access to NTD. Go to newsletter.ntd.com to sign up for our evening newsletter.
It's rare to find Republicans and Democrats agreeing on much in D.C., but there is one thing bringing both parties together: condemning the CCP for its ongoing human rights abuses. NTD's Steve Lance has more from the Capitol.
Republicans and Democrats are in lockstep calling out human rights abuses and genocide in China. They held a bipartisan hearing to examine the implication of holding the Winter Olympics in the communist country. They called on the International Olympic Committee to reassess its relationship with Beijing.
Xi Jinping and the CCP are persecuting believers and all manifestations of faith and spirituality, including Christians, Tibetan Buddhists, and Falun Gong practitioners, in ways not seen since the Cultural Revolution.
Democrats and Republicans alike said we can no longer turn a blind eye to Beijing's disgraceful human rights record in the face of profits.
I've said if we don't speak out against human rights violations in China for commercial reasons, we lose all moral authority to speak out for human rights anywhere.
The International Olympic Committee is no stranger when it comes to dealing with Beijing. In 2008, in spite of widespread calls to boycott the Beijing Olympic Games, they carried on business as usual.
The International Olympic Committee's shameful choice to hold the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing and other cities in China sadly makes the Olympics an immediate focal point for our consideration. How did it come to this moment where an event designed to uplift the human spirit is being held in a nation that is crushing the human spirit?
Human rights activist Young Jin Lee says the international community is at risk of becoming a tool in the CCP's soft power strategy.
I'm calling on the U.S. and its allies to do the following: initiate a joint political boycott of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, urging businesses and athletes not to participate in the Games.
Democrat Congressman from Massachusetts, James McGovern, thinks this is a necessary approach.
An announcement to postpone the 2020 Tokyo Games was made only 4 months before it was scheduled to start. If we can postpone an Olympics by a year for a pandemic, we can surely postpone an Olympics for a year for a genocide.
Voices around the world are calling to boycott the 2022 Beijing Winter Games. But is the International Olympic Committee listening? In the wake of the CCP virus pandemic, many eyes are certainly watching how they respond. Steve Lance, NTD News, Washington, D.C.
Dr. Fauci says he wore a mask before the latest CDC guidance to avoid sending a mixed signal. Critics are saying he's admitted to playing theater, an accusation made against him before. NTD's Miguel Moreno has that story.
Dr. Anthony Fauci told ABC's Good Morning America that he feels comfortable taking the mask off indoors because he's vaccinated, and that he kept it on before to avoid sending mixed signals.
Before the CDC made the recommendation change, I didn't want to look like I was giving mixed signals. But being a fully vaccinated person, the chances of my getting infected in an indoor setting is extremely low.
Now the doctor's critics are accusing him of admitting to wearing a mask for show or theater, an accusation he denied strongly 2 months ago during a Senate hearing.
No. You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show. No. You can't get it again. There's virtually 0% chance you're going to get it, and yet you're telling people that have had the vaccine, who have immunity. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear a mask who've been vaccinated.
No, that's not. Here we go again with the theater. Let's get down to the facts. The other thing is that when you talk about reinfection and you don't keep in the concept of variants, that's an entirely different ball game. That's a good reason for a mask.
Call it what you will, I think we can reasonably ask ourselves a few questions. Do we have variants today? Yes. Does the science show that vaccines work? Yes. And could Fauci have told Paul that he didn't want to send a mixed message by taking off his mask? Maybe. Now, Walmart, Target, and other retailers are relaxing their mask policies where they can. You can now walk into their stores without a mask if you've been vaccinated. They're still recommending that unvaccinated people wear masks inside. Basically, they're setting up honor systems, giving customers the benefit of the doubt. Now, while we're on this theme of opening up, the US's case average has reached an 11th month low, just about. The last time we had case numbers this low was in June last year. The death average is also way down, the lowest number in over a year, which is great news.
And a video posted online appears to show a UFO sighting in California. We hear more from NTD's David Lamb.
An object in the shape of a tic tac can be seen hovering left and right in a video from Friday. At one point, the object seems to plunge into the water. Filmmaker Jeremy Corbell posted the video to his Twitter account. He says the U.S. Navy photographed and filmed the UFO 2019. According to Corbell's website, it was filmed at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Astronomer Seth Shostak analyzes the video.
Wasn't the kind of evidence that I would consider in any way compelling to show that, by gosh, the aliens are here and they're flying over the coast of California.
Shostak says videos like this have been taken all the time.
I would believe it if another camera also saw the same thing, right? And then you would try and interpret, well, what is it? I mean, is it an aircraft? Is it, a kite? Is it a drone? Whatever. That kind of thing would be convincing.
He says it'd be more compelling if there's satellite video capturing more angles of the spacecraft. But Corbell believes this incident is a breakthrough and mystery in that the Navy or Pentagon may or may not have more information. David Lamb, NTD News.
A Staten Island artist has spent his career painting the American flag. NTD's Jason Perry visited him in his new studio to learn more about his artworks.
Scott Lobaido has painted the American flag in all 50 states. The flag you see behind me is painted on the doors of New York Fire Department Tin House. They lost 6 firemen when they responded to the attacks on 9/11. Lobaido says it hasn't been easy being an artist who loves America and supports the troops and first responders. He learned early on that parts of America's art community are a little different than what he once envisioned.
And I went to find myself in the art world in the 90s, which is New York City, Manhattan. It's the capital of the creative world, and like, where do I find my niche? And unfortunately, I saw that there was so much hatred towards America and that flag, our American flag, from the art community. And I was shocked.
Lobaido says America has given him complete freedom as an artist, and everyone in America has that same freedom of expression under the Constitution. He says to enjoy these freedoms and show hatred towards the flag and the country is like biting the hand that feeds you.
You try drawing a circle in the wrong part of somewhere in the Middle East, you lose your hands. So I'm a crazy son of a gun. I've done some crazy things. I'm a crazy artist. But I can be that way because of that flag. And the men and women, which is more important, who made the ultimate sacrifice for me. They did this for me.
He says he wants to bring the American flag back to life. The largest flag Lobaido's painted is in Houston, Texas, next to the Hobby Airport, and it is over 150,000 square feet. But there is still more in his artworks. He says he also hopes to reach the youth.
We all know the flag, we did the Pledge of Allegiance in school, whatever. I want to go out and play. But when you see something so visually stimulating, especially with children nowadays, with everything's computerized, CGI, technology, but this grabs them and they ask questions. What is that? Why is that work of art? Why is that flag like that? And then that folks can say, well, that building, that's a veterans post, and that giant flag on there is paying tribute to them. Well, who are the veterans, Dad? They're the ones who allow us to go to the Yankee game tonight.
Lobaido started an art installation tour to raise awareness of the veterans who commit suicide, roughly 22 every day. When Scott found out that I am also a veteran, he showed me the utmost respect.
Look, you were given a gun and a bayonet. God gave me a paintbrush and some paint. I will never compare myself to the sacrifice that you made. That's part of also what I do for the veterans, because there's a little guilt, again, for why I'm living the life I want because of you guys, because of you men and women.
Lobaido's gratefulness towards the men and women who serve is seen throughout the states flowing into the art that he creates. Jason Perry, NTD News, New York.